Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice with the News You Trust studios, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dave Russell. Stay ahead in soybean farming with the latest research and insights. Follow the Ohio Field Leader Program at ocj.com, brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and their checkoff. Joel checks in with this week's Buckeye Temp Tracker.
Time for our weekly Buckeye Temp Tracker update, which we take a look at soil temperatures around the state. It's brought to you by B&A Genetics. Real service, real results. In the numbers, let's start in Morrow County. Corn stalks see us under 30 degrees, while our bean stubble field there, a reading of 32 degrees. Perry County, 39 degrees for their corn stalk field, and the 37-degree mark for bean stubble. Fayette County seeing a corn stalk field of 42 degrees and our bean stubble field of 39 degrees. And in Mercer County, both their corn stalk and bean stubble fields that they're keeping track of under 30-degree soil temperatures. As we plot those out on our graphs, all readings this week below that of last week. Not the direction farmers wanting to head, but looks like warmer temperatures here on out. We'll keep you updated on soil temperatures each week with the Buckeye Temp Tracker, thanks to B&A Genetics. I'm Joel Penort-Wood.
Thanks, Joel. Well, what are the latest numbers regarding U.S. agricultural exports, imports, and trade balance after the first 5 months of the fiscal year?
5 months into the agricultural trade year. And the latest trade balance, according to USDA, looks like this.
A trade balance of negative $16.2 billion, which is $12 billion less than the negative $4.2 billion deficit of last year.
Economist Mark Kenner says regarding export and import numbers for the first 5 months of the current fiscal year,
agricultural exports for fiscal year to date through February 2025 were $77.6 billion, which is down 1% from the previous year. Agricultural imports were $93.8 billion, up 13% from the same time last year.
Month-over-month changes include exports down 1% and ag imports down 14% from the previous month.
If you're looking at the trade balance, yes, that is an improvement closer to the neutral zone as opposed to getting farther negative just from month to month.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
February exports of U.S. pork were lower than last year despite continued success in Mexico and Central America. February pork exports totaled 241,179 metric tons. That's down 4% from the large volume last year. Value dropped 2% to $671.5 million. Exports soared to Central America in February, and export value to Mexico exceeded $200 million for the 8th straight month. The U.S. Meat Export Federation says February beef exports were also below last year after a higher trend in January. Beef exports totaled 98,198 metric tons in February, down 5.5% from 2024. While value dropped 4% to just over $800 million. February exports increased year over year to South Korea, Canada, Egypt, and the Philippines. Senators Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota and Roger Marshall of Kansas have introduced the Dairy Nutrition Incentive Program Act. It's a bipartisan bill designed to increase access to dairy products for SNAP participants and support dairy farmers across rural America. The act would allow SNAP participants to buy more milk, cheese, and yogurt, with their benefits expanding access to affordable and nutritious options. The markets, they're coming up next.
Ohio's beef farms run on the protein-packed punch of soybeans. Across the United States, beef operations consume the equivalent of 55 million bushels of soybean meal annually. Soy meal delivers the energy and essential nutrients that help produce top-quality beef for your table. From soybean fields to plates everywhere, soybeans power the farms that feed families. This message brought to you by the Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Think biodiesel is just another fuel? Think again. Biodiesel is Ohio innovation on the move. Clean, green, and built to keep diesel engines running strong. It's an engine booster, a soybean supporter, and an environmental champion all in one. Every gallon reduces emissions, strengthens Ohio farms, and powers your ride. Drive with purpose. Choose biodiesel. Learn how at soyohio.org.
The market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. At the Board of Trade, May corn $4.74 up a nickel. December corn $4.50 3/4 up a nickel. May soybeans $10.12 3/4 up 20 cents. November beans $9.97 up 19 1/4. July wheat $5.55 3/4 up a penny and 3/4. At the Mercantile Exchange, April cattle $202.80 up $3.70. April hogs $86.97 down 85 cents. May feeder cattle $278.20 up $6.47. This is the Ohio AgNet.